Here are the 9 contestants preparing for tonight's show. They're playing for prize money of up to £50,000, but only one of them will walk away with the money. The rest will leave with nothing, as round by round they're voted off as the weakest.
Could win up to £50,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want that prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
My name's John, I'm 52, I live in Tynemouth and I'm a waste management consultant.
My name is Carolyn, I'm 43 years old, I come from Stoke Poges in Buckinghamshire and I'm a full-time mother of 4.
My name's Alan, I'm 26, from Manchester and I'm a recruitment consultant.
I'm Olivia, I'm 45, I come from Mildenhall in Suffolk and I'm a market research interviewer.
I'm Becky, I'm 23, I'm from Formby in Merseyside and I'm a student.
My name is Ben, I'm 35, I'm from Derby and I'm a company director.
My name's Virginia, I'm 61, I come from Sale in Cheshire and I'm retired.
My name's Marco, I'm 38, I'm from Howzone in the West Midlands, I'm a lecturer.
My name's Anthony, I'm 23, I live in London and I'm a graphic designer.
Now, the rules. In each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £5,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. The first round lasts for 3 minutes. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Alan. Let's play the weakest link. The first question is for £100. Start the clock. Alan, which fibrous yarn used for making clothes is mainly obtained from the fleeces of sheep?
Cotton.
No, wool. Olivia, in food, what is Scotch broth, soup or custard?
Soup.
Correct. Becky, according to the saying, what makes the heart grow fonder?
Absence.
Correct. Ben, in October 2001, which tennis player married Steffi Graf?
Andre Agassi.
Correct. Virginia, if A is Alpha and Z is Zulu, what is B?
Bertha.
Bravo. Marco, in the UK, on which date is All Fool's Day celebrated?
April the 1st.
Correct. Anthony, in measurements, how many inches are there in 1 yard?
12.
36. John, in travel, in which year did the Paris Metro Underground system open? 1800 or 1900?
1800.
1900. Carolyn, in New York City, an area of Central Park was renamed Strawberry Fields in 1981 in memory of which British singer?
John Lennon.
Correct. Alan, in the TV sitcom Last of the Summer Wine, which character is played by Kathy Staff?
Nora Batty.
Correct. Olivia, in food, what B is the British colloquial term for sausages?
Bangers.
Correct. Becky, in nature, what are the fruits of rose bushes called?
Rose buds.
Rose hips. Ben, in biology, which vessels carry oxygen-rich blood from the lungs, arteries or veins?
Arteries.
Veins. Virginia, which TV music show on which records were judged hits or misses has been presented by David Jacobs, Noel Edmonds and Jules Holland?
Jukebox Jury.
Correct. Marco, the author of the crime novels Original Sin, Unnatural Causes and Death in Holy Orders, is P.D. who?
Woodhouse.
James. Anthony, what W is a verb meaning to cleanse and the name of the inlet of the North Sea between Lincolnshire and Norfolk?
Wash.
Correct. John, in the 2001 film Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the title role is played by Daniel who? Radcliffe. Carolyn, in history, from which Mediterranean island did Napoleon Bonaparte escape in 1815, Elba or Sicily?
Elba.
Correct. Alan, which 4-letter word can mean a plate, food prepared in a particular way, or an item of TV receiving apparatus?
Dish.
Correct. Olivia, in food, what S is a selection of Swedish hors d'oeuvre?
Smorgasbord.
Correct. Becky,
Bank.
which suburb of Los Angeles is also known as Tinseltown?
Hollywood.
Correct. Ben, of which form of dance was Frederick Ashton a leading performer and choreographer?
Ballet.
Correct. Virginia, in football, of which South Coast Premiership club was Stuart Gray dismissed as manager in October 2001?
Brighton.
Southampton. Marco. In which 1933 film did Fay Wray star as the love interest of a gorilla?
King Kong.
Correct, Anthony. In classical music, which composer wrote the well-known anthem? Time's up. I cannot complete the question. And in that first round, you managed a disastrous, pathetic, embarrassing £750 out of a possible 5,000, which know-it-all knows nothing. Who should be walking, not talking? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The first strongest link statistically is Olivia, because she gave the most correct answers. With no right answers, John is the weakest link. But will the team notice this so early in the game?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Olivia.
Alan.
Marco.
Anthony.
John.
Anthony.
Marco.
Virginia.
Olivia.
Well, you've spread your distaste well and truly. There is a three-way tie. Olivia, Marco, Anthony. 2 votes each. Ben, what do you do?
I'm a company director.
What does your company sell?
Cappuccinos, lattes,
Oh, you got a coffee shop, have you?
we have.
Oh, right. Well, isn't it funny how company directors always end up having perfectly normal jobs? Who's it sell coffee to?
The general public, people like
Oh,
yourself.
the general public. People like me. You think I'm the general public, do you? Why, Anthony?
I felt that he should have known how many inches there were in a yard.
Alan, tell me what you're wearing today.
Wearing a cotton shirt and a pair of cotton pants.
It's a cotton shirt, that, is it? Sure it's not a wool shirt?
Positive.
How many sheep did it take to make your cotton shirt?
1 or 2, but they're very good at stitch work.
And what did Marco do to upset you?
Wore a cotton shirt that clashed with mine.
John,
Anne.
so you're a muckraker, are you?
I knew you'd get it in. Yes, that's what I do. I rake muck.
How'd you rake muck?
I actually advise people on how to look after the waste and not put it in landfill and recycle it.
What was wrong with Olivia?
Just potluck, I'm afraid.
She's not worth recycling, then.
You said it, Anne, not me.
Well, when the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link statistically in the first round was Olivia. So, Olivia, you're one of these annoying people who stop us in the street when
Not
we're in a
annoying.
hurry.
Just going about my business.
Irritating beyond belief.
All you have to do is say no.
Why have you voted Anthony?
Because he had the 2 bad marks against his name with the inches in the yard and failing to bank.
OK. Well, now you've heard the evidence of the others, you have an opportunity to change your mind. You can move on to Marco.
I'll stick with Anthony, please.
Why?
For the 2 black marks that I'd already written out against his name.
Anthony, who's the graphic designer, it's back to the drawing board. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Being voted out first of all when I got a couple of the questions right and didn't think I was a weakest link, I feel a bit victimised. I think Olivia's decision to stay with me was wrong, and the only reason why she did it was probably because that she saw that I had her name down on my board as well.
Round 2. So far, you have managed to put in the kitty just £750 out of a possible 5,000. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Olivia. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Olivia, according to the phrase, which dairy product, when prefixed by the word big, refers to someone considered to be influential or powerful?
Cheese.
Correct, Becky. In architecture, the purpose of a viaduct was to carry what over a valley, a road or a waterway?
Waterway.
No, road. Ben, in TV, what is the name of the BBC consumer rights programme presented in 2001 by Nicky Campbell?
Watchdog.
Correct. Virginia, which American vocalist sang the theme song for the 1997 Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies?
Tina Turner.
Sheryl Crow. Marco, in nature, what deer is the name given to the nest of a squirrel?
Den.
Dray. John, what is the legal name for a wall between two adjoining buildings belonging to two different owners?
A house.
Party wall. Carolyn, on BBC Radio 4, which famous DJ is the regular host of the Saturday morning programme Home Truths?
Terry Wogan.
John Peel. Alan, in UK geography, Cleethorpes is a holiday resort on the estuary of which river, Thames or Humber?
Humber.
Correct. Olivia, in the Second World War, in which year did Hitler's Germany invade the Soviet Union?
1940.
1941. Becky, in children's TV, the Trumpton series was a spin-off from which programme?
Don't know.
Camberwick Green. Ben, in geography, what A is the capital city of Algeria?
Ankara.
Algiers. Virginia, in which traditional sport might a competitor use an anchorman's grip?
Tug of war.
Correct. Marco, in medicine, which type of organism causes tetanus? A bacterium or a fungus?
Bacterium.
Correct.
Bank.
John, which 1970 film had the tagline, "Love means never having to say you're sorry"?
I don't know.
Love Story. Carolyn, which two-word term is used for the button on a video cassette recorder used to proceed to a later section of tape as quickly as possible?
Fast forward.
Correct. Alan, in language, rouge is the French word for which colour?
Red.
Correct. Olivia, in the TV sitcom Adrian Mole, The Cappuccino Years, which character was played by Helen Baxendale?
Pandora.
Correct. Becky, in science, what is the chemical formula for the gas carbon monoxide?
CO.
Correct. Ben, in theatre, Oscar Wilde wrote the famous line, "We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the what?"
Stars.
Correct. Virginia,
Bank.
in sport, the rules of boxing were codified in 1867 by the Marquis of Ware?
Queensbury.
Correct. Marco, in
Bank.
which year did Margaret Thatcher first lead the Conservative Party to a general election victory?
79.
Correct. John, which fashion designer created his own label called Polo in 1960? Time's up. The correct answer is Ralph Lauren, but you were out of time. You bagged a slightly better amount in that round of £1,100, but you well missed out, yet again, on your £5,000 target. Who's the runt of the litter? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
As the only person to answer all of his questions correctly, Alan is the strongest link. For the second round in a row, John answered none of his questions correctly and remains the weakest link statistically. Can he survive another vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Becky.
Ben.
Becky.
John.
Carolyn.
John.
Marco.
John.
Marco, what do you do?
I'm a lecturer.
Where are you now? Where did you learn to do that?
At university?
And do you teach at a university now?
No.
No, you're not good enough for that.
It's a different thing altogether.
Where do you teach?
Dudley, in the West Midlands.
Right. And why is that a different thing altogether?
Oh, it's a different route. You wouldn't understand.
What do you teach?
Maths.
Oh, right. Might it be you're not bright enough to be a university lecturer?
Oh, no.
What did you do before you were teaching at Dudley?
I was a rocket scientist.
You were a rocket scientist.
I was...
How scary is that, a rocket scientist? And what did John do to upset you?
Definitely the weakest link in the first round and even in the second round.
Ben, why John?
He's having a bit of a mare.
What's a bit of a mare?
He's having a complete nightmare, Anne.
You're so clever and articulate, you could almost be a lecturer in Dudley. Well, it's certainly true that John has not answered a single question correctly since he got here. So what can we say, John? The man who deals with waste disposal? You certainly are rubbish yourself. With 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
To actually go in the second round is a bonus for me, because I should have gone in the first. I would like Olivia to go next. She's a real pain, that woman. La-di-da voice, don't like her.
Round 3 team, and out of a possible £10,000 you have in the kitty, just 1,850. You're down to 7 players. We're taking another 10 seconds off your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Alan. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Alan, which actor who starred in the 1997 film The Devil's Advocate plays bass guitar with a band called Dogstar?
Keanu Reeves.
Correct. Olivia, in football, which English club won the 2001 UEFA Cup?
Arsenal.
Liverpool. Becky, in geography, in which ocean are the Philippines?
Pacific.
Correct. Ben, in pop music, Isaac Hayes had a 1971 UK hit single with a theme from which film?
Don't know.
Shaft. Virginia, in Formula 1 racing, what G is the name of the area where cars are set in formation to start the race?
Grid.
Correct. Marco, in the animal kingdom, what name is given to a young whale?
Calf.
Correct. Carolyn, in physics, how many kilowatts are there in 1 megawatt? 1,000 or 1 million?
1,000.
Correct. Alan, in which branch of the British Armed Services does a group captain serve?
The Navy.
The Air Force. Olivia, in the UK, which county council includes the boroughs of Copeland, Allerdale and Barrow-in-Furness?
I have no idea at all.
Cumbria. Becky, in history, what S was the nickname of American Civil War General Thomas Jackson?
Don't know.
Stonewall. Ben, in pop music, the rock group Steppenwolf had a 1969 UK hit single with Born to Be what?
Wild.
Correct. Virginia, which actor played the character Paul Ashworth in the 1997 film Fever Pitch?
Sean Bean.
Colin Firth. Marco, in which century did the famous Salem witch trials occur, 14th or 17th?
17th.
Correct. Carolyn, which word is used in the UK for the fairground ride known in the United States as a carousel?
Merry-go-round.
Correct. Alan, the American biscuits known as cookies have which flavour, sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Correct. Olivia, in pop music, which animated band had a 2001 UK hit single with the song Clint Eastwood?
Gorillas.
Correct. Becky, according to the popular Christmas carol, Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of whom?
Stephen.
Correct. Ben, in the animal kingdom, what D is a group of birds whose varieties include dabblers and sawbills?
Dippers.
Duck. Virginia, in horse racing, which other colour name is used to describe horses that are almost white?
Grey.
Correct. Marco, in
Right.
literature, who wrote the novel Brideshead Revisited?
Don't know.
Yves Lemoore. Carolyn, in music, which American blues artist famously had a guitar he calls Lucille?
Duke Ellington.
B.B. King. Alan, in nature, Tom Thumb, Lady Thumb and Mrs. Popple are varieties of which flower? Fuchsia? Time is up. I cannot complete the question. And you put into the bank just £600. Who's as useful as a cat flap on a submarine? It's time to vote on the weakest link.
Marco is the strongest link. The statistics show that Ben is the weakest link. But will the votes reflect the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Olivia.
Ben.
Becky.
Marco.
Olivia.
Ben.
Alan.
Well, we have another tie team, this time between Olivia and Ben. 2 votes each. Virginia. Why Ben?
Because twice there wasn't anything to bank when it came round to me.
But he's a company director.
So?
Carolyn, remind us what you do.
I'm a full-time mother.
Why Olivia?
I particularly remember Olivia getting the football question wrong. I thought she should have known.
Oh, as a full-time mother, you know all about football, do you?
I did know that, yes, Anne.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Well, when the vote's tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. And the strongest link in the last round was Marco. The choice, I'll take this carefully because it's you and speak slowly. You can decide to vote off either Olivia or Ben.
What was the first one again? Ben.
Why?
He's got more wrong answers.
He was, statistically, the worst player in the last round. What can I say to the company director? Alas, you're about to join the general public. Ben, you are the weakest link. Come on.
I'm pretty embarrassed about my overall performance. All my friends and colleagues at home will be taking the mickey out of me remorselessly. I really hope it's Marco who's voted off in the next round because he's just voted me off in the tiebreaker and it's really upset me.
Round 14. So far, you have banked £2,450 out of a possible £15,000. There are 6 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Marco, astonishingly. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Marco, in TV, Carol Smiley presents the DIY show Changing What?
Rooms.
Correct. Carolyn, in history, during the reign of which English queen did the Battle of Blenheim take place, Anne or Victoria?
Anne.
Correct. Alan, in geography, with which country does the Netherlands share its longest border?
Denmark.
Germany. Olivia, in music, the Bridgewater Hall in Manchester is the home of which famous orchestra?
The Halley Orchestra?
Correct. Becky, in film, which actress played the character Kimmy Wallace in the 1997 romantic comedy My Best Friend's Wedding?
Julia Roberts.
Cameron Diaz. Virginia, in sport, golfer Greg Norman is nicknamed after which creature?
Whale.
Shark. Marco, in the UK in 1986, the castle and cathedral of which city in the northeast of England were designated a World Heritage Site?
Durham.
Correct. Carolyn, in food, a dill pickle is a pickled what, onion or cucumber?
Cucumber.
Correct. Alan, in which country was tenor Jose Carreras born?
Spain.
Correct.
Thank
Olivia, in literature, Henry Wadsworth were the first 2 names of which 19th century American poet?
No, I can't remember.
No, Longfellow. Becky, in politics, which prominent cabinet minister was first elected MP for Blackburn in 1979?
Tony Benn.
Jack Straw. Virginia, in finance, the economic principle that beyond a certain point expenditure does not produce a proportionate profit is the law of diminishing what?
Returns.
Correct. Marco, in the American TV sitcom Friends, how many of the 6 lead characters are female?
2.
3. Carolyn, in the Shakespeare play As You Like It, what's the name of the jester, Touchstone or Tombstone?
Touchstone.
Correct. Alan, in science, what's the lightest chemical element?
Helium.
Hydrogen. Olivia, in TV, which EastEnders actress was born Barbara Ann Deeks?
Barbara Windsor.
Correct. Becky, in Japanese history, what S was the name given to a hereditary commander-in-chief of the Japanese army, the virtual ruler of the country until 1867?
Samurai.
Shogun. Virginia, in which language does al fresco mean outdoors?
Italian.
Correct. Marco,
Right.
in film, A Whole New World was the theme song for which 1992 Disney animation, The Little Mermaid or Aladdin?
Aladdin.
Correct. Carolyn, in British history, what was the first name of the Prime Minister, Lloyd George?
David.
Correct. Alan.
Bank.
In geography, in which continent is the country of Ghana?
Africa.
Correct answer is Africa, but you were well out of time. And in that round, you hardly surprised us. £850 is all you put in your kitty. Whose brain cell must feel very lonely indeed? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Answering all of her questions correctly makes Carolyn the strongest link. The weakest link statistically is Becky, because she got all her answers wrong. But who will lose out in the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Becky.
Becky.
Carolyn.
Olivia.
Olivia.
Becky.
Marco, do you know the sitcom Friends?
Yes?
Oh, right. But you don't know how many women are in it.
I think I forgot Carla.
Carla? Who's Carla in
She's
Friends?
the, isn't she the barmaid? Oh, Friends. Oh, yes, I had Cheers in my head.
Why Becky?
Well, though she is foxy, she voted for me when I was the strongest link, which is just unforgivable.
Alan, why Becky?
Principally because I'm feeling outnumbered. There's 4 of them and there's only 2 of us. So I'm standing up for male power. And she's too much of a distraction. I've got to get rid of her.
Becky, apparently you're too pretty to stay. With 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
I'm feeling really traumatised at being voted off in that round. Alan thinks he's a bit of a ladies' man and he's just not.
Round 5, team. Your total so far is £3,300 out of a possible £20,000. There are 5 of you left, another 10 seconds coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Carolyn. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Carolyn, in tableware, which spoon is the largest? Teaspoon, tablespoon or dessert spoon?
Tablespoon.
Correct, Alan. In TV, Lisa Nicole Carson plays which character in the US comedy drama Ally McBeal?
Ruby.
Renee. Olivia, in which Gilbert and Sullivan operetta is the song Titwillow sung?
HMS Pinafore.
The Mikado. Virginia, in football, how many goals were scored by England in their final World Cup qualifying match against Greece in October 2001?
5.
2. Marco, in sheet music, which sign placed by a note looks like a lowercase italic letter B?
Cleft.
Flat. Carolyn, in religion, in which present-day country did Judaism originate?
Israel.
Correct, Alan. In 1998, Queen Elizabeth bestowed which honorary title on comedian and actor Bob Hope?
MBE.
Knighthood. Olivia, in which national newspaper did Bridget Jones's diary first appear?
The Daily Mirror.
The Independent. Virginia. The US city of Cambridge, Massachusetts is home to which Ivy League university?
Harvard.
Correct, Marco. In maths, what is 3/8 of 16?
6.
Correct. Carolyn,
Bank.
which female member of the Jackson family appeared in the TV series Different Strokes during the 1980s?
Janet Jackson.
Correct, Alan. The 1973 film The Day of the Jackal and the 1980 film Dogs of War were based on the novels of Frederick who?
Forsyth.
Correct.
Bank.
Olivia. From which Middle Eastern language did the words algebra, syrup, sofa and Bedouin originally come?
Arabic.
Correct. Virginia, which actress and cookery writer is married to the artist Gerald Scarfe?
Jane Asher.
Correct. Marco, in literature, the author George Eliot wrote the 1859 novel Adam What?
West.
Bede. Carolyn, in pop music, which group had UK hit singles in the 1990s with the songs Sit Down, Come Home and Destiny Calling?
Destiny's Child.
James. Alan, in nature, what is the common name for the fruit of the horse chestnut tree?
Conquer.
Correct.
Bank.
Olivia. The 2001 book True History of the Kelly Gang was written by Peter who?
Schaefer.
Carey. Virginia, in science, ferromanganese is an alloy of manganese with which? Time's up. You banked £800. Who's the caterpillar in your cabbage? Who's the maggot in your apple? Who's the fly in your soup? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
With the most correct answers, Carolyn remains the strongest link. Olivia is now the weakest link. But will the statistics be reflected in the voting?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Olivia.
Marco.
Carolyn.
Olivia.
Olivia.
Virginia, did you choose the shirt yourself?
Yes. It was a mistake, but I chose it.
Why Olivia?
Because a couple of times there wasn't any money to bank when it came, but she was banking beautifully herself, but there was nothing here when it was my turn.
So Einstein, why Olivia?
Because there's more people on that side and less people on this side. And I've seen it before, and if you get isolated, you're in trouble.
Olivia, the market researcher. Back to work the streets. 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Bye.
Being voted off a little bit on the sad side. It means I'm not going to be able to clear my debts. I'm going to have to go back to walking the streets, as dear Anne says. Of those left on the team, Carolyn is the most likely to vote tactically because she played a dirty trick on me earlier on, and the other 3 seem incredibly honourable citizens in comparison.
Round 6 team. So far, you have banked £4,100 out of a possible £25,000. There are 4 of you left. We are cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Carolyn. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Carolyn, in the United States, the name of which bird follows the word stool to give a colloquial term for a police informer?
Pigeon.
Correct, Alan. In the history of which sport is Ben Hogan one of the most famous figures?
Golf.
Correct, Virginia.
Bank.
In the musical Hair, which song begins with the lyrics, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars?
Aquarius.
Correct, Marco. In children's literature, Dick and Georgina are 2 of the heroes in which series of books by Enid Blyton?
Oh, I don't know.
Famous 5. Carolyn, in Scotland, which city is known as the Granite City?
Aberdeen.
Correct, Alan. A mazurka is a piece of music originally intended to accompany which leisure activity?
Board games.
Dancing. Virginia, in the 1970s and 80s detective series Heart to Heart, which US actor starred as Jonathan Hart?
Robert Wagner.
Correct, Marco. In science, pyroclastic flows are sometimes produced by which geological structures?
Earthquake.
Volcanoes. Carolyn, a garden flower familiar for its drooping spikes of white or pale pink bell-shaped flowers is lily of the what?
Valley.
Correct, Alan. In football, at which ground do Premiership club Aston Villa play their home games?
Upton Park.
Villa Park. Virginia, situated to the south of London, the airport that stages an annual air show is called Big and what?
Hill.
Correct, Marco. In theatre, Noel Coward adapted his play Still Life into which 1946 film?
Gone with the Wind.
Brief encounter. Carolyn, in the animal kingdom, English, Irish and Gordon are all varieties of which type of dog?
Setter.
Correct, Alan. In TV, Ronnie Barker played Norman Stanley Fletcher in which 1970s sitcom set in prison?
Porridge.
Correct,
Bank.
Virginia. In the 1960 Hitchcock film Psycho, the character Norman Bates says that a boy's best friend is his who?
Mother.
Correct, Marco. In children's literature, what is the name of the book by Anna Sewell about the life of a horse?
Black Beauty.
Correct! Carolyn, in which sporting activity is Sir Chris Bonington a leading figure?
Mountaineering.
Correct, Alan. Time's up. You banked just £1,000 in that round. Whose brain has blown a gasket? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
With the most wrong answers, Marco is the weakest link. Carolyn is the strongest link statistically, as she answered the most questions correctly. But who will the team want off?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Marco.
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 Alan.
Virginia, have you got something against former rocket scientists?
Nothing whatsoever. He's lovely.
But you've voted for him 3 times.
This time, I genuinely think he was the weakest link.
Alan, do you not like former rocket scientists?
I just figured this isn't rocket science, so no
You
place
voted
here.
for him 3 times, haven't you?
Have indeed.
Well, what can we say, Marco? Statistically, you were the worst player, but at least you've given hope to anyone who wants to become a maths lecturer. 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I didn't do very well on the literature questions, but I was expecting that. I was hoping to avoid too many literature questions. I did get my 1 maths question right, so I can just about hold my head up, I think.
Round 7. You have in the bank £5,100 out of a possible £30,000. There are 3 of you left. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Carolyn. Let's play the weakest link. Stop. Carolyn, the Swiss city of Geneva stands on the shore of which lake?
Lake Geneva.
Correct, Alan. In music, which German composer wrote the title of 4 operas, The Ring of the Nibelung?
Wagner.
Correct.
Bank.
Virginia, in rugby union, Australia, South Africa, and which other nation compete for the Tri-Nations title?
England.
New Zealand. Carolyn, which member of the royal family married Serena Stanhope in 1993?
Viscount Linley.
Correct. Alan, in literature, the memoirs of which northern playwright and author are entitled Telling Tales?
Alan Bennett.
Correct. Virginia.
Bank.
The song Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town was a UK hit single in 1969 for which American country singer?
Kenny Rogers.
Correct. Carolyn, in maths, what is 5% of 10,000?
200.
500. Alan, in geography, the Exmoor National Park is situated in Devon and which other county?
Cornwall.
Somerset. Virginia, which chain of stores founded in Rochdale in 1844 gave shoppers a share of the profits in exchange for stamps collected in a divvy book?
Cooperative Society.
Correct. Carolyn, which 3-letter word can mean a cardboard coaster under a beer glass or a piece of coarse material for wiping shoes on?
Mat.
Correct, Alan. In April 2000, the first 3 digits of the telephone dialing code of which Midland city changed to 024?
Leicester.
Coventry. Virginia, which Rodgers and Hammerstein musical features the song Climb Every Mountain?
The King and I.
The Sound of Music. Carolyn, in art, line dancing and Girls in a Taxi are paintings by the popular English artist Beryl who?
Mooney.
Cook. Alan, Gregory Peck won a Best Actor Oscar for his performance in which 1962 film based on a novel by Harper Lee?
Singing in the Rain.
Correct answer is To Kill a Mockingbird. And in that round, you only bank £500. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank, which means potentially there's £15,000 to be won. The question is, who are you going to hang on to? Who are you going to get rid of? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
As the team make their final vote, Carolyn is the strongest link for the 4th time in the game. With the most wrong answers, Alan is statistically the weakest link. But who will be taking the final walk of shame?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Virginia.
Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Virginia. That's an interesting choice.
Well, no, it's usually when there's 2 ladies and a man left, the girls vote against the man. And I think that's sexist, so I thought I'd do it the other way round.
Alan, let me ask you a question.
Fire away.
Guess who's got nearly as many questions wrong as they've got right in this game?
That'll be me then.
That's you. Guess who's only answered 5 questions incorrectly since the start of the game?
That'll be Carolyn.
So why are you voting her off?
I would have thought it was obvious, Anne. Stronger competitive than me, and she's going to beat me in the final. So if I get rid of her now, I've got more of a chance of winning.
So you're a coward?
Yes, I am.
Well, Carolyn, overall, you have been the strongest player, but there's nothing fair about the weakest link. With 2 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I understand why they voted me off. They were frightened of the competition, and if I have to be voted off, that's probably the best way to go. I think Virginia would win, and I would like Virginia to win. I think, although she's made a few mistakes, I think she's got a good general knowledge.
Round 8, you have in the bank £5,000. £600 out of a possible £35,000. Alan with the necklace. And Virginia with the orange shirt. Just the two of you left, and you have 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £15,000 is at stake in this round. You voted off the strongest link from the last round, so we're looking at two cowards. We'll start with the second strongest link, that's Virginia. Let's play the weakest link. Start the top. Virginia, in which decade of the 20th century did Alaska become a state of the USA?
50s?
Correct, Alan. In pop music, which US female singer had a top 10 UK single with I'm Out of Love in the year 2000?
Cher.
No, Anastasia. Virginia, in history, who was the last British monarch of the House of Hanover?
Queen Victoria.
Correct, Alan. Sandy is an informal version of which boy's name?
Alexander.
Correct,
Bank.
Virginia. In UK geography, the parish church of which town in Derbyshire features a famous crooked spire?
Chesterfield.
Correct, Alan. The animated squirrel and moose characters who featured in a 1960s cartoon series and a year 2000 film are called Rocky and who?
Bullwinkle.
Correct, Virginia.
Bank.
Which West Country city lies at the meeting of the rivers Frome and Avon?
Bristol.
Correct, Alan. In art, the name of the 16th and 17th century painter known as El Greco usually translates into English as the what?
The Greek.
Correct,
Bank.
Virginia. In medicine, photophobia is a fear or aversion to what?
Light.
Correct, Alan. Famous sons of which English city include William Gladstone and Paul McCartney?
Liverpool.
Correct, Virginia.
Bank.
What's the name of the lead singer of the pop group Blondie?
Debbie Harry.
Correct, Alan. Founded in 1960, Churchill College is part of which English university?
Oxford.
Cambridge. Virginia. In army uniforms, what item of dress is a Sam Brown?
Belt.
Correct, Alan. Which
Bank.
meal usually consisting of cold food and eaten in the open air? Time's up. Between you in that round, you managed to bank £1,100. Please do not look pleased with yourselves because you actually answered 9 questions correctly in a row, so you could have had the target of £15,000 without any trouble whatsoever. What you did win will treble and add to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money tonight of £8,900. But of course, only one of you can take that money home. In the final round, you will play against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. So Alan and Virginia, for £8,900, let's play the weakest link. Virginia, it's the strongest link in the last round. You have the choice of who goes first.
I'll go first, please.
Virginia, in aviation, which Belgian airline filed for bankruptcy in November 2001?
Sabina.
That is the correct answer. Alan, in language, Vespa, the name of a famous scooter manufacturer, is the Italian word for which winged insect?
Fly.
No, the correct answer is wasp. Virginia, which song sung by Elvis Presley begins with the lyrics, well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show?
Blue suede shoes.
That is the correct answer. Alan, in fashion, the accessory known as a snood is designed to be worn on which part of the body?
The head.
That is the correct answer. Virginia, which outspoken Yorkshire batsman is the only player who twice averaged more than 100 first-class runs during an English season?
Freddie Truman.
No, the correct answer is Geoffrey Boycott. Alan, in astronomy, 5.9 trillion miles is a distance best known by what name?
Light year.
That is the correct answer. At this stage, you are level pegging. Virginia to take the lead. According to superstition, which animal has the mark of a cross on its back owing to its religious associations?
A lamb.
No, the correct answer is donkey. Alan, in a standard game of darts, if a player throws an outer bull, an inner bull and a double top, how many points does he score?
115.
That is the correct answer. Virginia, you need to answer this question correctly to remain in the game. Which Welsh-born film and stage actor once said, "The Welsh are all actors, it's only the bad ones who become professionals"?
Anthony Hopkins.
No, the correct answer is Richard Burton. That means, Alan, you are tonight's strongest link, and you go away with £8,900. Virginia, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
If I'd have had Alan's questions in the final, I would be standing here the winner now.
I'm happy as Larry that I won. I voted off Carolyn, who's the strongest player all the way through, because I had a stronger chance against Virginia. And I won. And I'm going home with £8,900. Guilty? No chance.